Zealoters, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Imagine looking the most powerful military on earth directly in the eye and telling them just one word: leave. 2 years ago, that is exactly what the government of Niger did. They didn't care about the consequences. They packed up the American flags, closed down a massive $100 drone base, and ordered nearly 1,000 American soldiers to pack their bags and go home. For a moment, it felt like a total victory. Africa was finally standing on its own feet. But history has a very tricky way of moving backwards. Fast forward to May 2026, right in the capital city of Niamey, a very strange exchange took place. The United States Embassy handed over 9 large containers of military equipment to the exact same army that threw them out. We are talking about uniforms, medical supplies, and field gear worth over $1 million. And inside the official letters, the Americans used a very specific way to describe Niger. They called them partner. So, what is really happening here? Is this the brave nation that stood up to the global superpower, or is this a country that is quietly opening the back door to let the empire return? Today, we are going to look at a raw fact side by side. We are not here to judge, and we are not here to scream or get emotional. We are going to go deep into the shadows of the Sahel to see what is really going on. Welcome to the channel. If you love honest conversation about Africa without noise, make sure you hit the subscription button right now. Let's break this down into real story. Let's start with what we know for sure. This is not a rumor, and it is not social media gossip. Both the US government and Niger military confirmed that on May 26, 2026, 9 containers were delivered. Inside these containers were not fighter jets. There were no heavy missiles or advanced drone technologies. It was a basic gear, uniforms, trauma kits, and field bandages. To a regular person, $2 million sounds like a lot of money. But in the world of modern warfare, this is pocket change. It is a very modest package. But look closely at the ways the US Embassy used. They openly stated that this delivery helps American national security interests. Superpowers do not give charity. Every single box of bandages comes with a political strategy. Many regional experts are pointing out that this shipment isn't about military power at all. It is a political foot in the door. It is the first quiet step of a superpower trying to find its way back into a region it lost.
U.S. charm operation in Niger, in any case. Last May 26th, the American embassy in Niamey handed over 9 containers of military equipment to the Nigerian armed forces, one aid valued at approximately $2,300, or nearly 1,200,000 in CFA francs. The lot includes uniforms, protective equipment, as well as medical equipment to field operations. This delivery comes after several diplomatic exchanges, recent between American and Nigerian officials. Even if the content of the discussions has not been made public, Washington says it wants to continue cooperation. Security with Niamey in the face of the terrorist threat in the Sahel. One intriguing signal, especially after the major break in 2024, as a reminder of the regime of General Abdurrahman Tiani, had precisely demanded the departure of American soldiers present in Niger, in particular to be based on Agadez. The United States had invested several hundred of $1,000 in this important base de drones. For some observers, this aid could reflect an American desire to return gradually in the Sahel, at a time when Niger is simultaneously reinforcing its relationship with 2 new partners, like Russia and of course the US. Simple cooperation, security, or real diplomatic recapture operation. The question is asked. I have recently seen that the United States has turned over a batch of equipment to I would like to say, I know that the General Tiani knows what he does. We don't refuse a gift. It's true. But I always said when America gives you material America, never this material in the field. So take the time to dry out the material. Pass the material to the laser beam, pass it. Material in any case. Inspect until the end. Maybe there is a little element that they put in to know your position. Since it is the same Americans that Niger has driven out of the base 101. The drone base of the Americans. It was in Niger, I say to your presidents. I say to the staff of the Niger Air Force to be very careful with the Americans. They try to enter, look at the coincidence. When a country wants to negotiate with us, it is necessary gift to Niger, we know their intentions. America never gives $1 as a gift. When America gives you $1, is because America knows that $1 that America gave there, it will raise at least $1,000 in it. I don't trust Americans, because I know them too well to have lived with them long enough and to understand their psychology. America never gives anything as a gift. I call you the authorities of Niger to pay close attention to the donations of the Americans. It's not free. It's not free. The West doesn't give a gift. I ask you to be careful. I saw that you received a lot of military equipment. But why doesn't America come and build a hospital? If America really wants to help, why America doesn't come and donate? While there are other domains today, Niger does not need to be donated in terms of military equipment. And America never mixes its military equipment to military equipment nor from Russia, nor from China, when they know that we buy with Russia and China. What is the objective? If they are not obliged to take, they have already taken by the only speak because they took. If they had succeeded, I wasn't going to talk already because they took that, I speak. So I was not our authorities to be very careful. When America does, it's never free. It's never free, amazing. But true, at what point our worthy country, our Niger authorities, have they signed security agreements with the United States? And gentlemen, it is May 30th, 2026. Welcome to my column today. I learned with dismay, this information which states a 2-point donation, $3 million in military equipment to our armed forces in Niger. My question is to know, when we have already re-signed agreements with the United States, in terms of security to the point that this country gives us or offers us military equipment to strengthen the security fight against terrorism. In our country, last month, Niger has strengthened its military cooperation with Iran. This month, the United States comes out to donate materials to Niger of security to fight against terrorism. Intelligence, that's all, you know. But my problem is to know why we don't want to learn of our experiences. Haven't the United States been cited in the destabilization of evil recently through its Stinger anti-drone system? Ah bon, you'll excuse me, I don't know what they call these things, but I know that Stinger. It is American Mistral, it is French. From the moment where American weapons find themselves in the hands of terrorists, how can you continue even accepting donations from a country that fights us in a hidden way? The United States has been to the Niger for 2013 until 2023. They were chased away 2024. No, it says no security improvements. But on the contrary, they refuse to cooperate with us. The United States has sworn that African countries will never develop, and it is with this same country that we have decided and we continue to cooperate, that things are clear to those who do not understand diplomatic language. Already I want to ask our authorities, well, we'll say that maybe it is the reinforcement of the cooperation. It is a mistake. We didn't sign anything to you but the word gift, as the word helps in diplomacy. Disturbs me deeply. It is important that African countries, our brothers and sisters, mean by gift or by help things that are bound. That is to say that Westerners do not give anything. They do not help at all when they come to give you. It is to submit you after. So this material that was given to our armed forces of the Niger, what does the United States have in return? Since we know that the United States cannot release $2.3 billion from their fund to make them available to Africans, so that the latter can fight against his shadow army either. They take us for fools. Or our life does not count the U.S. financing terrorism in the world, especially in the Sahel. The United States comes to ask to cooperate with the countries they attack in secret. In the Sahel, and these countries have proved it seriously, these bases, we have seen the American soldiers on the land of our Nigerian ancestors. They were supposed to collaborate with our armed forces. But when we asked them the position of terrorists, he said that he was not forced to give us the position of the terrorists. NATO countries do not cooperate with African countries. They come to dominate African countries on their own land. I don't know if you have listened to the address of our minister of Mali's foreign affairs before the ancients. He clearly explained that when they arrive, the foreign armies, they prevent us from diving into the land of our ancestors. It prevents us from flying over our own sky. What did France and the UN did north of Mali? When we wanted to travel with our helicopters, France and the UN forbade us to embark because they said they were to work in this space, while we know very well, although it was to protect their terrorists. That is, at some point, we must learn from our mistakes and our past, but more. But above all, we must learn to be firm. I am one of those, and those who say that diplomacy is a thing. It is necessary. Sometimes people can be at war and have the same interests, and so on, but with the NATO countries, this is not verifiable. CES countries, especially in military matters, are not in the cooperation, because these are the countries that attack us. Until we understand this, we will continue to fall. In their trap, the United States aims to counter the influence of China-Russia, but especially from Iran.
To truly understand why Niger is accepting these boxes, we have to go back to July 2023, when the military took over power in Niamey. The whole Western world panicked. Niger told France to leave, and France left in shame. Then they turned to the Americans and cancelled their military agreement. By late 2024, the U.S. military completely emptied Air Base 101 in Niamey and Air Base 201 in Agadez. Losing Agadez was a massive blow to the West. That base was the eyes and ears of the U.S. military over the entire Sahara Desert. When the Americans left, a huge vacuum was created, and as we know, in politics, space never stays empty for long. Russian military trainers arrived. Russian air defense weapons were set up on the tarmac. Niger completely shifted its friendship to Moscow. But look at the heavy price Niger had to pay for that choice. The moment they turned their backs on the West, economic sanctions hit them. Their neighbors threatened them with military invasion. They were isolated, cut off from the global financial system, and forced to survive on pure willpower. Now let us even dip into the things people don't like to talk about. Why will Niger take help from an old rival? The answer is simple: survival. The year 2026 has been an incredible, bloody and difficult year for the alliance of Sahel states. The pressure on these countries is moving from every single direction. Just look at what happened at the end of January this year. T Group's fighters launched a massive coordinated attack on the international airport in Niamey and nearby airbase. Over 30 attackers used heavy guns, explosives, and even suicide drones. The fight was brutal. And here is the mind-blowing part. Russian forces had to stand side by side with Niger soldiers to defend the very same airbase where American troops used to sleep. It didn't stop there. In April, Mali, Niger's closest ally, faced the biggest sea offensive they had seen in 10 years, where even top military figures lost their lives. Earlier in January, Burkina Faso had to stop another secret plot to assassinate Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a plan they said was cooked up by foreign interests. Do you see the pattern? 3 countries, 1 alliance, and all of them are under heavy attack of the exact same thing, same time. And there is another war happening that doesn't use guns, it uses stories. Mali, Niger are constantly fighting massive disinformation campaigns online. Foreign powers are using accusations of human rights abuses as a new type of weapon, trying to make these governments look bad so they can justify coming back into the country in the future. When we sit in our comfortable rooms and talk about geopolitics, we often forget what war actually looks like. Behind the official military statement are real young African men. They are sons, brothers, and fathers from small villages. They are sent into the hot desert to fight an enemy that uses new modern drones. Now we don't understand what is happening. But what I know is they just can't offer our all in all these days and they will say no. But the word partner is what we don't understand. But whatever the situation is, time will tell. And we know and believe in our leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Our all in all will never disappoint us. They said we can do business with them in our own terms. We just don't want them seeing our independence as the junior version. So, let's wait and see the full picture of what is happening in the Sahel. Specifically, in Niger. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's colonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world. In Africa, West Africa, in Niger.